Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Welcome to Politically Correct. In this episode, I'm going to talk about how UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath is becoming a kind of role model for his counterparts in other states, the BJP Chief Ministers I'm talking about. Let me give you some examples. Now, we have heard about the anti-cattle slaughter law or bill passed by Karnataka Assembly. Now, days before the Karnataka Assembly took that up, Karnataka Chief Minister Yediyurappa sent his Animal Husbandry Minister, Prabhu Chouhan, to Lucknow to meet Adityanath and learn how the latter had made the anti-cow slaughter law or amended that anti-cow slaughter law of 1955. It's supposed to be very stringent, and Karnataka was trying to follow that model. Then let's talk about this love jihad. Now, the UP ordinance came into effect on 28th of November. 9 days later, we had the Madhya Pradesh Assembly Pro Tem Speaker Rameshwar Sharma visiting Lucknow to learn about the love jihad law or the model brought out, the ordinance brought out by the UP government. Now, before he left Bhopal, he told a newspaper, "I'm impressed, quote unquote, I'm impressed the way UP government under the leadership of Yogi Adityanath cleared the ordinance against love jihad and even acted swiftly to register its first case." And then Sharma landed in Lucknow, met officials, met the Chief Minister to learn how to make the MP law stringent on the lines of the ordinance promulgated by UP. In November, on 1st of November, Yogi Adityanath had declared that his government would be bringing this law or some law against love jihad. Very next day, we heard Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Khattar making the same announcement. Not just that, talking about other BJP CMs also. In Gujarat, for instance, CM Vijay Rupani instructed the police officials to take a cue from how the UP police had handled anti-CAA protesters and look at how the government had gone about recovering compensation for the damages to public and private properties, damaged by anti-CAA protesters. That was Gujarat. So we see at least 4-5 CMs, everybody looking up to Yogi Adityanath. Now, what's happening there? What's happening in the BJP? Yogi Adityanath had been a chief minister for barely 3 years. Now, the chief ministers we are talking about who are trying to model themselves on Yogi Adityanath, you have 4-term chief minister Shivraj Singh Chouhan, Madhya Pradesh. You have 4th Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa, Karnataka. You have Manohar Khattar, he is a 2nd-term Chief Minister. We are talking about Vijay Rupani, 2nd-term Chief Minister. Now, all these people looking up to Yogi Adityanath for guidance in terms of administration or the way the kind of laws he is bringing about in UP. So, what's happening in BJP? Now, my assessment is, it's because within 3 years, UP Adityanath is kind of holding his own. Now, he has become a model for others because Prime Minister Narendra Modi, for instance, keeps praising him. You may have a lot of reservation about the way UP police has been handling law and order situation, but the Prime Minister has praised the improved law and order situation in UP. Prime Minister has praised Adityanath government for the pace of development that UP government has been maintaining. Even on COVID management, PM has publicly praised the UP CM. It's not just the PM. We have heard the BJP projecting Yogi Adityanath as its face in other states also. It's not just UP. We have seen Yogi Adityanath campaigning, even the most recent being this Hyderabad municipal polls. Earlier, we have seen him all over, Maharashtra, Kerala, even in Gujarat. All over, wherever you see the BJP making a strong pitch, Yogi Adityanath reaches there. So the party projecting him like that, Prime Minister projecting him like that, obviously other BJP CMs are also under the impression that he is the one they have to follow. Now, it's not just that. The way Adityanath has been trying to model himself on the Prime Minister, actually. We have talked about it in earlier episodes. The most recent, I would say, he was in Mumbai trying to Bollywood and industry captains. So it's again the same projection that he is already the Hindu, or he thinks he is the Hindu Samrat. as Modi has been, and then the Vikas Purush, development man image. And the UP Chief Minister has been consistently at it. If you hear the statements coming from senior officials or ministers from Lucknow, now the other day you had Dinesh Sharma basically saying that, we had made a target of 20,000 crore of investment and 1.5 lakh jobs in 5 years. We have completed it in 3 years. We have heard the Additional Chief Secretary, UP, talking about how in the last 6 months, during the COVID period, over 400 acres of land has been allotted to different companies for investment. So in the last 6 months, he says, investment worth 6,700 crores has come to UP. So same this development image, but that's not all. I mean, there could be many other regions as well. So when you hear Yogi Adityanath talking about making UP $1 trillion economy, what he says is, the Prime Minister has promised to make India a $5 trillion economy. My contribution will be $1 trillion. So he's already projecting himself as somebody who is trying to realize the PM's dream, or trying to make his contributions, his own contribution, to enable the PM to fulfill his promises. He has been projecting it for the last 1 year at least. We have seen him doing it consistently. We have talked about in an earlier episode also, when his father passed away in the midst of this COVID crisis. His father was in Uttarakhand. The last rites were to be performed in Uttarakhand. But then the UP Chief Minister wrote to his mother. Of course, that letter happened to come to the media very soon, and even before it reached his mother. But the UP Chief Minister was explaining to his mother how his bigger commitment was to crores of people of UP. So while he's sad, and obviously his father passed away, he must have been extremely sad. But he decided not to go there. So he was somebody who was ready to make personal sacrifices. There are many other instances where you see the UP Chief Minister modeling himself on the Prime Minister, and now we see other BJP Chief Ministers trying to model themselves on Yogi Adityanath. It's a very interesting phenomenon that is happening. Now, when you go to Lucknow and you talk to BJP leaders, they tell you that in UP, Yogi Adityanath has started or has become a leader in his own right. Now, it was Narendra Modi whose popularity wave actually, whose mass appeal catapulted Yogi to power in 2017. But now, as they say, that Modi and Yogi are almost synonymous in UP. And it's a matter of time when you will talk similar things in other states too, probably nationally. Now that may or that may not be true. But what the BJP CMs are saying, they don't seem to be taking any chances. Please watch this space. We'll keep looking at this, keep looking at how Yogi Adityanath further evolves as a leader and how he emerges as a national leader. And the BJP is faced. We are already having a discussion or witnessing a discussion everywhere about Modi's successor. Well, our Home Minister Amit Shah is considered a putative successor, and he's seen as one. But then Yogi Adityanath is fast emerging as somebody who is being seen as another contender for the post. Please watch this space, and we'll keep discussing this, and how things evolve, we'll keep apprising you. Thank you.